points in the game and giving an angle back in from an early game that really shouldn't have been given away in the way it was.
Meteor's going to have Karthus removed. A lot of the easy first picks are gone, but Tristana's up. Tristana should easily be the first pick here. Knight maybe going towards the Talir as a counter pick. Well, vague counter pick in the mid lane. It's fine. It's one of the matchups which can scale up alongside and add value in ways which Tristana can't. Much in the same way that you can do against Corki as well. Good against the dash AD carries and able to push as well. And of course, this is a pick which has been banned away an awful lot so far in the LPL. Shaya, both very proficient players of it. BLG banned it in game 1. They pick it up in game 2.
Senna in, the Nautilus likely a response. Don't think that should shock anybody. That pairing is a tried and true combo for many a moon now.
Surprised though to see it go through, actually, being able to get that up there. I mean, you see a lot of the bot lane bans from LG throughout a lot of this series now, both game 1 and game 2. The Lucian, the Ashe, neither of them being allowed through. Now, LGD will have to find a way to deal with one of the most potent bot lanes on the patch. They can't play the Leona, they can't play the Nautilus themselves. They could pick something like Braum if they really wanted to play around the laning phase. Also, Rel, probably not a bad pickup for Jinzhou.
Almost things like the Alistair still up, and Jinzhou does play a fair amount of that one, so that might be an angle of attack here. They're certainly hovering it right now. You can see whether that is the eventual lock-in. So things like Renata have kind of fallen away from favor, especially as those melee supports become increasingly important.
Knight will go towards a mage in the mid lane as well. So it's not going to be the Talir for Knight, which I somewhat expected. It's the way which has better level 1 push because of the Molten Fissure if you really want to play towards that too. And very, very good follow-up damage from a long way too. Fantastic in the choke points. So BLG, good combos already. Nautilus lands a hook. Everyone follows up very quickly. But what are they going to have on the top side of the map? One of the AP farming junglers is gone. You don't have the AD mid laner. So I suppose this is good news for BLG that they are likely going towards one of the more AD skirmishing junglers from Shun. They could also go towards something like the Sejuani as well, which potentially could be very valuable. And maybe that will kind of cover up some of Shun's weaknesses from game 1. I guess if you're a BLG fan, though, that doesn't change the fact that those weaknesses were shown at all.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I've obviously been currently going back towards more of his carry routes away from some of the tank options. But I'm looking at this comp and I'm thinking, maybe something like a Zac might not be a bad option alongside something like the Vi, that combo that G2 really abused back in the day with the Hui in particular, with all that kind of long-range follow-up. But currently the bans are the Nidalee, of course, away from Meteor will be one of those AP options. Of course, he is a player of the champion,
and the
so
thing
that's
is,
going away.
if you're playing something like a tanky jungler, like Maokai, Sejuani, Nidalee is one of your worst nightmares because you can't fight the Nidalee. You can fight against some of the early skirmishing AD champions. You can double your way from a Lee Sin Q. You can phase rush out of a Xin Sao engage or something like that. Nidalee just keeps chasing you and you just die after that point. So it wouldn't surprise me to see Shun go towards the Sejuani or Maokai on this pick, Luke counterpick towards Bin against Birdall on that top side, allow for a top lane advantage again, which Bin managed to grasp very, very easily. That would be the calling card for me from BLG.
Time to see what they decide to lock in. Looking towards the jungle, Shun's Kindred are hover right now. So we have some ways of following up if Kindred decides to go deep into the jungle with the Senna and the Hui at least.
Okay, it's locked in. All right, we're saying, well, maybe it's something like that tank jungle. Maybe he can get himself through that. I guess the Nidalee also works if you're playing farming carries too, because Nidalee shuts you down all the same. So now you have the switch up of the AD mid and the mage jungle to the mage mid lane and the AD jungle. Knight and Shun will be flipping the cards on that one, but it is still that counter pick for Bin, likely looking for an anti-tank champion to go into K'Sante.
K'Sante being hovered, likely locked in. The champion is still very, very strong, and the Skarner's not there. It's the next best option, arguably a better option depending on who you are. Certainly allows a lot of skill expression if you are a solid player of the champion. Zyra is locked, though. We've seen one game of this already, and me and you know a mate of ours who plays a lot of this and has been shouting to the high heavens about how silly the clear is.
Well, we both know a person who plays a lot of it, but not in Summoner's Rift. For quick context, folks, I reached rank 2 on EU West Arena playing Zyra. This champion is absolutely absurdly busted in that game mode, and it's also really busted right now in Summoner's Rift. I got to have like that one moment to have that pedestal. You know, you get True Shot right. Fantastic. Anyway, go watch other game modes for that one.
Rank 2 arena specialist right here.
So Zyra's clear speed is incredibly fast right now, even from the very first levels of the game. I wonder whether BLG will actually weirdly wants to go for a lane swap to stop Zyra from just taking off into the game, because Zyra, no one can match her clear right now. And when you look at the multiple AD carries and squishy champions that want to stand and kind of buy their own space in these team fights, a Zyra plant with a Leandries and a Rylai's on top of it can be very, very powerful to stop you from doing that.
And I also think people like the Kindred and the Nautilus, who sometimes want to bounce forwards, especially before you get a load of marks on the Kindred, Zyra route really makes you sad if you try to do that. And as you said, the plants, your ability to play from a longer range than people think you can with that, could be pretty tricky.
I think with Jinzhou playing the Alistar in the front line, it can buy space and time for these quite long-range champions of the, the Varus and the Zyra with the plants being able to get some value too. So I like this draft. I think that the Alistar and the Cassante can be a good front line. They need to check their flanks. I think that if Bin and gets himself a good angle, gets himself an equalizer to cut people off as they try to retreat into someone else, could be very, very dangerous.
Game 1 was closer than anyone had a right to expect on paper. LGD, of old, proving they've still got a little bit of spice left in them. Ready to try and make this game 2 a true upset rather than just a near one. The players and their champions give us a little bit of a hello on the screen. The Rift coming right on up.
So, LGD so close, but not across the finish line in game number 1. It felt like it could have been one late game clutch moment which solved that game for them. BLG, we said that they had some exposed weaknesses in game number 1. The second game feels much more close to home.
The Gyos begin. BLG trying to hype up, or rather be hyped up by their fan base, who I think will be feeling a little nervous after that game 1.
Every right to.
Just that little bit louder still. LGD still getting some cheers though, of course. Maybe invigorated after the game 1.
Have we had the cheers?
Yes, just finished.
Oh, right.
That's the reason I was trying to give a little. Obviously, Alex can't hear them. It's just me.
Because I have to say, I think it's really nice to just like let the cheers happen and just kind of sit there and go like, you know what, enjoy the craft for what it is. Before we had the clean feed, of course, we can't really hear them.
No,
so it's a little bit of a adjustment for us to be like, oh wait, shit, we gotta shut up now.
Yeah, exactly that.
Level 1 potentially coming from the Nautilus. It could just be that the vision coming through at level 1, and I think that is just it on making sure that they're spotting out potential start. The thing about Zyra is that you need to stand in the same position to spawn some of those seeds in the right place to clear your first buff a little quicker. I think actually on blue side you like to start on red buff. You don't actually need the blue buff that much for your first clear. The red buff taking damage over time is quite nice, and you see that by standing in that right place, you can kind of manipulate the seeds to spawn in the right position. And now, with the W leveled up at this point too, you get to spawn your seeds very easily now on your second one, because you start with more seeds when you first level it up. It's one of the big changes to Zyra. It means that your level 2 means your second clamp goes very clear too.
I know, obviously, we both had that extended conversation about Shun as a jungler, and what the strengths he has and the weaknesses he had, and how the Karthus mid-game didn't look great from that archetype. He's on the Kindred, a champion that he is so much more known for. He can definitely try to get in the face, theoretically, of Meteor in the jungle and try and get a little bit more value out. But of course, Zyra's clearing so fast, and on the opposite side, there's no look at an invade right now from Shin.
So Zyra clears fast, but can she impact the map? You're still against 3 winning lanes. Well, I mean, maybe mid lane for Tristana kind of contest with the way, but you have 3 good lanes to play towards. I think Elkanon in the last game, they got bullied about in 2v1 and 2v2 a little bit more than they would have thought. It means that even though Meteor will be cleared with the clearing the jungle very quickly, it's not like they can really do that much on the other side. There is a bonus to that clear speed though, of course. There's huge amounts of things. It means that you're not going to get marks very easily because, let's be honest, Zyra's going to have taken them very immediately. You're going to get a couple on Scuttle here and there, but Zyra's not really going to give you access to her own camps that quickly.
This isn't a fully optimized clear, but even then, that is a huge moment. Sub 3 minute clear.
And as you can see in the graphic at the bottom, which I was just pointing to, this is the first Zyra jungle we have ever seen in LPL. And he might just be getting involved in the first kill here as well. Ignite comes through.
Taken pretty low. The root just shy, but the Thorn Spitter comes flying on out, and the arrow afterwards forces the flash.
Very well played from Meteor there. For those of you that don't know, the Thorn Spitter plants give a 30% slow that stacks up. Spawned 2 of them there, so even though the root didn't land, the 60% slow came through an Elk and almost led him to his death. Maybe could have gone towards a flash route to get that one. You can actually root flash now as well. Shun, as we said, I'll be able to get 1 mark off of that Scuttle on top side. That's the easy one to get to. Not really going to be able to go towards that one particularly easier on the other side. Have you just spotted that it wasn't the mark?
It wasn't the mark. It was on the other side. So I was just keeping an eye on that, because obviously one of the things you then often do is try and wait, but I think it wouldn't be safe enough with the way the map state is. Just get the camp and go back and get out in there. So maybe we don't want to go. Was debating a recurve pose, actually going towards the Rectrex here instead. So looking for perhaps a bit more of a lethality option here on the Kindred.
It's going to be the Kraken Slayer.
Is Rectrex into Kraken Slayer now?
Yes.
Ah.
So it'll be the Kraken Slayer first off. It's not going to be as easy crit but it's still completely fine to go towards that one. I think Kindra's one of the people that maybe just likes the move speed from that one anyway. So yeah, both these junglers. I love how we have both these junglers with really intricate micro mechanics that you don't see in other champions. I like that quite a lot because it means that you get to see some of the individual skill from both of these. We're getting towards our second clear. Fated Ashes for Zyra massively improves the clear speed to the champions too. So at this point, Shun is going to have to be really aware that Meteor could be anywhere on the map at all times.
This component has been such a boon to AP junglers ever since basically Haunting Guys stopped being a great half item for a lot of those junglers, at least back in the day. I cry that I can't play that champion very much anymore. Having this burn, it feels really good in the jungle at that kind of part complete. It's such a cheap break. What was it, 900 gold?
Something like, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't played enough of the Zyra jungle myself yet to remember that item choice, and when I play Aria, I don't build this damn component anyway, so that's another one for it. Either way, Mewtwo, you can see that one of the big things now is that you can just kind of walk away from the camps as the plants are on them as well, and you can just take these camps really, really quickly and keep running towards the next one. I need to see now LGD move this quick farming into getting some vision control so they can actually make some plays off of the Alistar and then the Zyra following up as well. Having Haichao able to get that push is very important, but this needs to be a two-step plan. You get that jungler on into River after all the camps are down, getting high stats, but then also comboing up into the vision control. This is a good start. You can go towards the dragon now as well. Again, very good damage from the Zyra once you have the Fated Ashes.
Still got that pot as well after the first clear. Often you see some of these farming junglers actually just skip out on the pot to have more gold in hand for items after the first clear.
And also one of the things you notice as well, much like Elise with Spiderlings, which of course you're very familiar with, since Elise is one of your champions, you protect your plants because it is your damage towards objectives and towards plants and stuff like that. It will be a trade of grubs for the first dragon. That's going to be a good... Is that a cancel out? I'm actually not sure if that completely cancelled out. I think it did. Shinja going forwards.
Into the headbutt puts Nine in a difficult position. Now flashing away, but there's still a rocket jump available. And the trample CC means first blood goes the way of Tristana.
Oh, Knight caught out by Jinzhao on the roam. There's only one of the grubs gone down just yet. Birdle pops the ghost as well. Must have been a reset. He takes the first one. Of course, Kindred not best at killing all of them at the same time. And it means that even in the objective trade, LGD working out really well in the early game.
I think Shun pulled off because he saw the fight happening in mid lane. On very low here as well as Xiaoye. Lands the hail of arrows and On's going to have to be forced away. Remember, that's the farming Nautilus, so access to the wave is pretty significant, and Meteor just roams on over and nabs a grub.
Yes, the grub can't smite out the last one, but it's still one more grub than maybe they thought they'd be able to get towards. You can see that Shun has one mark from camps right now, but hasn't been able to get a kill on a champion early into the game. It does feel like LGD. Again, things are going to plan right now.
And Zyra will be able to go through the jungle once more, clear out that mark on the Gromp, which would have been a second one for Shun, and then look to finish a very early, either the Liandry's or the Blackfire Torch, depending on specialty.
I think in this game, I'm trying to think, because I think realistically, I think Liandry's into Rylize is so good in this game. It means that the Nautilus basically can't play the game. Blackfire, I think, is a little actually overrated on some of the AP junglers.
I agree.
Because Zyra is such a good Liandry's user. Doesn't always need the cooldown reduction. Birdall does have that all out. I was wondering to see if he was going to pull that one. Not quite just yet. But yeah, we'll see what that first time is going to be from Meteor. I actually still really like the Liandry's into the Rylize. I don't think you need the double burn.
Yeah, and I think sometimes, well, Blackfire Torch is a better farming item because obviously you get the stacking AP depending on how many monsters are burning as well. So if you're looking, you're saying, look, actually what I really want to do is just farm really hard for 2 items to play for that point. Yep.
But the
that's
thing,
good. You don't necessarily need to this game.
And the thing is, Zyra's not really that big an AP scaling champion.
No.
It's weird. What she does is apply on hit or on spell hit really easily because your plants supply that. And it means that when you do have the Liandry's and you have stuff like the Rylize, it makes it so easy to keep that ticking over and over because your plants give you that effectively extended range where if there's no other target around, the plant will go towards its maximum attack range beyond your skill as well, and then try and go towards that. Jinja going forwards, doesn't have the flash now, Hex Flash over, doesn't have the level 6.
Rooted, needs to be a little bit wary, still has the flash, maybe forced to use it. The Hail of Arrows comes on through the root just shy, and they can't secure anything else from on.
So it's going to be ult out from Xiaoye, and that's kind of the grand cost of that one. We don't have grub spawning just yet. 2 minutes until the next objective spawn. See that Bin doing fine in the individual 1v1. All out comes through.
And did overheat briefly, but missing a little bit of an auto there. I think Birdle's just dead to the equalizer, the solo kill.
And Bin just winning the individual matchup. Birdle, one of the best top laners in the LPL in spring, but Bin was the best and showing that in the individual 1v1. Jungle attention be damned, he'll win it all the same. And I have to say, this is one of the big differences between Game 1 and Game 2 is that Bin is going to win this top lane anyway, it seems. You don't have to be there for him on cooldown. Just let him win while Xun can be elsewhere on the map helping.
Gold lead closer than last game, I'll say that, despite the early mess that was there. BLG still managed to get pretty significant early gold leads, and that could still lead to a pretty interesting mid game, but we'll have a look at the replay and see what happens.
Yeah, you can see that the Q3 misses, the W misses, Bin's keeping going forwards, has bone plating at the start of that too, hits another E, and basically Bertle's just not accurate with his skills. He missed two Qs already, missed the third one there, missed his first W in the trade as well, and then he's just not got the damage. That HP bar remaining from Bin is the missed skills from Bertle.
The Cassante meme is largely predicated on you hitting all those abilities. That Q3 knock-up on a short cooldown is all well and good, as long as you know, hit the ability.
And you can see now with Meteor building up towards the Haunted guys, it will be that Leandri's first item coming through from Meteor, not the Blackfire Torch. I think that one's completely fine. I think that, again, cooldown reduction on Zyra is sometimes a little bit of a luxury. Don't always need it. I think in this game should be going towards the pen boots as well, not the cooldown ones. I think that you don't even need that much cooldown reduction in this game. Just go for the full damage, why not? I would do it myself. Jin Zhao has his ult, might have to blow it. Shun's walking forwards. What's happening with mid lane? It's not going to be Knight roaming down, so it's going to be a freebie and out. Dragon and Grub spawning in 30 seconds. We need to keep track of these HP bars.
Birdle getting chunked again. Bin doing so much damage now in this matchup with the Faded Ashes and just the Haunting Guys burn, bringing Birdle down to about 20%. On the other side, slowed down, nowhere to run. Kill donated. Tempted to be donated over to Xiaoyu, but it's still Meteor who picks up the kill.
You can see 3 summoners used from BLG's bot lane must have been used in a trade with Xiaoyu's flash and his ult as well, but Meteor is there once again. BLG struggling when their jungler's not down there to help them, and it feels like Meteor has been first into bot lane multiple times now. LGD walking away with an important kill just before the objective spawn. Need to see what Meteor is going to choose to do with that. Goes back for the Leandries, knowing he has the gold for it, and goes back out onto the map. So what happened here? We saw the grand total of everything used. You can see that I think Elkanon thought that they had themselves in a really isolated play, but Meteor's there, gets himself a huge combo through with the flash route into the ult, and they just overcommitted without knowing where the enemy jungle was.
I think another plant auto might have been enough burn to kill off Elk as well, but he gets away with it. Over we go towards the Grubs. 4 secured for BLG. But 1 more will be taken back, but they do hit that might break point.
Gotta say, given the fact that Birdle's almost in solo kill twice and is down 1,500 gold, the fact that LGD stopped the 6 Grubs, I think is very unexpected. The first 1 on each spawn helps with that one. Of course, they haven't gone towards a dragon rush in this case. Knight's coming forward. Here goes Ginger. Knight has flash. You have to use it.
There's the flash for the Pulverize, and he is instead forced to flash away himself. Summon a blown in mid lane before a dragon fight.
Yeah, and that's going to be important. Of course, Jin Zhao no longer has his own flash, but has the Hex Flash. Meteor should be clearing through this dragon now. Leandri's very, very good against those. Mountain Dragon actually somewhat annoying against Zyra because your plants die so quickly to the AoE. It takes 2 autos for each of them, but it means that they don't end up surviving quite as strong if they're all clumped up together. But all the same, we'll be very happy with that one. As we can see on screen, we're seeing basically 260 gold from each first, right? That's not going to be important. Probably another 300 gold here from Birdle as he goes down on the turret.
He is about to be dived for sure. Gets a decent W, buys some space, and actually the dive is warded away for a second or two. There is a teleport on High Chow, but instead they're looking towards the bot lane. On will be able to teleport. Oh no! Interrupted! And now the body block means there's nowhere to go. On is swiftly switched off. No more power to the Nautilus.
What was the decision making there? Maybe he thought he could just hop into the brush, but he maybe pressed it a little too quickly. Can't get out alive. Big mistake from On. The bot lane of BLG, yes, there was an MVP from On in game 1, but it does feel like they have been a point of concern from BLG at the points when they've been looking a little shaky. LGD once again in the early game showcasing that Meteor can get onto the board. He's had a good game on the Zyra so far. 1-0-1, very happy with how this is going. BLG do get the cross map towards top side. That's important for them, but it is still going to be the extra kill donated over to LGD.
This is Meteor against his former team where he was supposed to be the star before BLG formed a couple years back, and the roster we now know and love, of course, and that roster was supposed to be a bargain bin roster for BLG, and they turned out to be so much more than that. But Meteor, who was on the other side of that coin.
What happened here? What happened here, man? So On goes out. Is he trying to go into the brush? What is happening here? I mean, we don't see the teleport on there. I think with that emote being put through. I think he knows he made the mistake, but of course you don't see the teleport being channeled on that observer. He didn't just stop randomly moving, he was teleporting. And we see a kill onto Knight in the mid lane, assist to Meteor, kill over to Haichao. Knight caught out again.
Was a little bit there, had no flash blown, and now the combos begin to get very dangerous, and Herald about to get summoned as well.
I think we can start calling it at this point. This is looking like, this is looking like LGD in a dominant position in this game. This is one of those games you have to ignore the gold advantage at the top. Yes, there's a 2,000 gold lead for Bin, but the rest of the team are going to really struggle with the Tristana and the Zyra, who are really far ahead and are going to start being really obnoxious sooner rather than later. The Herald picked up as well, very, very important. Shun has got himself to 4 marks. That's a good thing for him. He has the range increase. He kind of needs it, though, in this game.
And they've left the eye behind.
LGD, guys.
It doesn't.
They lose the eye. What? Just as we was talking about them being in a dominant position in this game, they don't pick up the Herald. LGD.
What?
Losing to their own heads, really.
Was it stolen? Did
No.
they just not pick it up?
No, it wasn't stolen. They just don't pick it up. No one was there on the same side of the map to do that. Shun was taking Krugs, remember. Haichao takes this thing up here, but LGD, what just happened? They lose track of everything.
Are we going to get a replay?
We have to. We're going to get a replay of the kill here. Of course, Knight, we said that he doesn't have the Hex Flash. Jin Zhao does. He comes over the wall, and Jin Zhao, one of the, again, the veteran players on this roster, makes the most of it. We're not going to get a replay of whatever the hell happened around Herald. It is just simply a mental blip.
That is so disappointing. That would have been a way to get to that mid lane tier 1. Remember how long it stood on about 1 HP? The last game was such a thorn in LGD's side. Well, it might just happen all over again.
And well, BLG, that is
egregious.
That's egregious, and that's a freebie for them. They'll see that there's no Herald in inventory. They'll see that at some point if they press tab, they're like, oh, those totems are still the same, and that's a big moment because it means that the mid lane outer turret might stand longer. Today, we've seen mid lane turrets stand a very long time. This is Shun has himself that Kraken Slam. The move speed on that one, very important. Shun has ult.
Pretty good. Remember, there's still the potential headbutt option. Jin Zhao taken pretty low, but now Shun in danger. Needs to think about backing away. It's into the Curse of the Black Mist to offer some safety. Jin Zhao burning down, but not dead critically.
You burns his ult, burns the ignite, but Shun starting to really flex the muscles. Still going towards the same build, even though the items have changed with the Kraken Slate into Collector to be very, very strong at the 2-item mark. However, BLG with that damage onto Jin Zhao might get a chunk to get the mid lane turret. That's good combo, though.
Oh my lord, On has to back away, and the Lamb's Respite as well to prevent the burn from killing the Nautilus.
Like just missing with the ultimate. Thinks that the Crushing Maw would have just carried through a little bit more. You can see the huge damage coming from Meteor. We said that. We've seen a couple of the cooldown boots coming through from Meteor. Not from Meteor, from Zyras across the world. Has the pen boots. Has a huge amount of burst damage. And there's no magic resist really on the other side of the map. Yes, On is starting to build up towards some with some Mercury Treads. And Shun has his own there as well now built on the last back. But Meteor is going to be chunking out as we've just seen there.
Dragon spawning in 30 seconds, and those are some very big ultimates and cooldowns to burn. On's flash, Shun's flash. Shun's ultimate, I don't think he was quite level 11 at the time, or if he was, it's still going to be a very long cooldown. The Lamb's Respite, Jin Zhao. Remember, doesn't have the ult himself. Now in danger, flashes over the wall. The damage back onto Elk, though, is foul.
And that is Zyra. Again, the burst with the Sorcerer's Shoes and the Leandries on top of it. The Electrocute if you proc, that's so dangerous. This is why we're seeing this champion be hovered, being banned. It's the first pick in the LPL, but I expect to see some more. Meteor really showing the value.
It's 4 level advantage, remember, as well. This is the support Senna, and one that hasn't really gotten involved in any kills. Stuck at 57 marks here is not a great kind of clip to be getting at.
That's a really good point, actually. We talked about the one earlier today where it felt like first center of the day had really good soul stacking. What is it, about 100 souls at about 21 minutes? Pretty okay, actually, when you consider the ins and outs of pro play where you have to leave some of those souls at points. Dragon has spawned. You have ult coming back up for Meteor, who has flash. I think this Zyra is going to absolutely take some names in this next one. BLG needs to be very, very careful.
Jin Zhao goes forwards, gets rooted up, but the turnaround CC is brutal. 2 dead to the Stranglethorns, and they're gladly picked up by Birdol and Jin Zhao.
BLG just cannot get their way past the Alistar and the Zyra. It's not like the Shinso who holds the ult there and stops you getting into it. The plants do exactly the same thing, though, but you just don't want to have to walk into them. LGD walk away with Ocean Soul Point. They walk away with another set of kills, and BLG, this is smelling like more and more like a game 3 against a team they should absolutely be sweeping.
Shun, Bin now on the same screen, looking to maybe find something, but the gold lead now LGD's favorite. Soul Point, Ocean Soul this game as well, when you can trigger it so easily as the Varus, as the Tristana gets more levels. We'll see a look at this replay,
He
because
said that Meteor got his ultimate back just before this came through. Jinjiao got his ultimate back just in time for this as well. Double combo. Great knockbacks by, I think, Nightbird gets the Q3 on that one. And a BLG just should not walk through a single corridor into an Alistar and a Zyra. That one's pretty much what it says on the tin.
And remember, this is a Glacial Alistar as well, no Aftershock. They want that CC addition to kind of make all the people really not enjoy the Alistar combos.
Oh, yeah, and it means that you're slowed into the Zyra, the plants and everything too. And now we've got ourselves... Oh, what Meteor is doing here is standing in the right place to make sure that the seeds keep spawning. In 10 seconds, Baron's coming up, and with the Liandry's and the Salt Boots, this will melt. Meteor's going to have 6 plants on spawn, or just about, and this is going to be a huge amount of damage coming through. This should be a 2-man Baron. I don't think BLG are prepared for this.
It's going to be so fast. They're not there. Shun's mid lane. It's going down so quickly with the Liandry's and a couple extra outposts.
He just used the ultimate to increase the damage from the plants,
and the health,
and the duration. Meteor knows the tech, and they 2-man Baron at 20 minutes. LGD walk away with it.
That is one of the most stylish moments we've seen in a while. Meteor, a slumbering giant, a player who's been kind of counted out for a couple years, still proving he's got a little bit of something to it.
LGD walk away with the Baron, but they might just get picked off. No, the hard work they've just put in.
Gets to flash away, but not for long, but the turnaround combo is brutal. They'll get the Lamb's Respite. Maybe that'll be enough time for, but the burn damage afterwards will still be big. Meteor rooted up, Shun getting away, the equalizer afterwards. Meteor needs to flash on, looking for some more. They will get a second kill, will BLG, and the hard work immediately crumbles.
2 dead. They did the hard work. They did it. Why is Shaya walking up there? You need to be prepared to see what BLG will do afterwards. Great 20-minute Baron, but they throw it all away.
Gonna be on a flank angle. They'll jump away, and they cannot hold the mid lane turret, and BLG punish immediately.
At least they still have that Baron buff, but they lose the mid lane out of turret. Xiaoye and Jinjiao, they cannot afford to get caught up like that. Shun and the rest of the team using their big ultimates in the perfect moment. Credit to BLG, they pounced when the time was right, but honestly, LGD, the game was in the palm of their hands. They had themselves that Herald drop earlier. They had themselves a really, really awful pickoff here again. What is Xiaoye doing walking up to a Nautilus like this? You cannot afford to position like this, and the AD carry, who's been subbed in and out of the roster, might have just lost them the game off of what was seemingly the game-winning one.
Severing Bolt forces the direction he's walking, and On says, I'll have that. The equalizer value afterwards, finally good.
No, but I mean, after Meteor showcases the fact that, you know, you can stand in one location, get yourself the maximum amount of plant spawns. You can only have 8 spawned at once, but he gets just about to that point. Increases the duration and the damage and the attack speed coming through from the Stranglethorns, which buffs up the plants within it. Great play from Meteor around the Baron to understand his champion and what it can do on the current patch, when seemingly the LPL teams haven't managed that one so far, but the misunderstanding of the bot lane and the position they should be in really costing LGD. They're pushing in again, they get themselves some of that gold recouped yet again, and they have themselves ultimates back available, but they should have been in a better position than even this.
Exactly that. They still managed to get value out of the Baron, still managed to get a shove out of the Baron, but this could have been a game-breaking advantage. It's not going to quite be that anymore. Worth noting as well, of course, is the Banshee second, not like the Ryalize, looking for that additional safety to be able to step forwards is Meteor. I'm
actually quite surprised at that. I suppose against the Thwei and the Rumble, which can reach you and outrange you, that can be quite important, but I really feel like the Ryalize has a lot of value in this game, from stopping a lot of these, you know, longer range champions from staying within range or being able to kite a little longer. So I suppose the Banshees with the 40-second spell shield cooldown can be very important in its own right. Now we have Dragon spawning in 30 would be Ocean Soul for LGD. They had great objective control. Once again, BLG are tasked with walking into the choke points.
In goes Jinjiao, doesn't get the biggest amount of CCs onto Honor. The turnaround damage is huge. Finally gets to ult, but the turnaround in turn from BLG is so strong. The Stranglethorns don't get that much value. Shun gets to hop away and even holds on to Lamb's Respite.
Oh, now Meteor and Jinjiao, now they're starting to fail the combo. That's a problem. BLG don't walk in through the tightest choke point, just into the river. They walk through mid lane bush instead. Meteor, no ult now. And it feels like maybe LGD will have to give up this Baron as well, the Dragon rather, at the same time. That's a shame for them. This should have been Soul.
Meteor still got the Banshees available, can still look to put down some plants. Even with the ultimate, it's still a serious threat.
Yeah, we still have On with hooks though. That's a big problem. Yes, the Banshees can stop that, but it can't necessarily stop the follow-up auto. And We'll see whether those Banshees will stay alive for a little longer. They're not going to be able to walk up into smite range. That's going to be the Siren put down, and that's going to be the Dragon.
Turnaround damage pretty big again. Meteor taken out.
And as we said, that spell shield doesn't last that long. You think you can walk up until you can't. LGD, it feels like they have lost themselves this game, rather than BLG winning it. There have been some opportunistic plays from BLG, but the more I look at this, and yes, the caliber of the opponent is high. LGD had this game in their hands. They are the ones which have thrown away a few situations now, which could have seen them into a game win too.
And despite the focus we've put on Meteor, on this Zyra that has been so good, Shun is quietly 1.5 thousand gold ahead, is at 2 items, is got 5 marks as well, so Edging has got that range increase required, had that from very early on, is still going to be very scary on the Kindred. You've got 2.5 items on the way. The lead for the Rumble is still very significant. The threat in some ways may have started to stabilize because BLG can start to throw a few of their own punches and they will hit pretty hard.
I still think that LGD are in good spots. Yes, you have a huge gold lead for Kindred in that jungle, but Meteor still has a lot of the items which he needs. It's not like Meteor is not useful. These items, even just having Leandries and Zyra can make you a threat. I wonder if the Banshee's Veil was a mistake. I feel like either going towards something like a Shadow Flame against a very squishy composition or going towards a Rylise would have been way better in terms of picking up the reins of this game and carrying with it. I don't think the Banshee's Veil has had enough value in this game so far to justify its cost. Haichao has teleport in the side lane now. He has some good items. He is very powerful, but they need to survive and engage if it comes through in a snappy way beyond this point. See that Meteor standing behind the bush trying to look for those plant tags on target.
Quite find it, and BLG beginning to sort of learn the way of fighting the Zyra jungle as the game goes on. Meteor not being as successful in the picks as they were earlier on in the game, but over towards Baron we go again. 15 seconds on that spawn. It is LGD with the shove in mid lane and the control of the river right now.
We do have ourselves a very, very interesting moment where we're going to get objective spawning. Again, LGD can't really look for the huge kill on spawn. Yet again, there's a hook in, but it's not onto a good target.
The damage is pretty good on. He's shielded up. There's a Lamb's Respite as well, mitigating a lot of the damage. Jinzhao gets out alive. Birdle W's his way through the CC. Everyone just about okay.
Meteor tried to time his ult, so the burst damage from the Strangle Thorns on the spawn, on the cast of it, comes through. Doesn't time it right, and On gets out alive. I think that might have even killed him towards the end of it. I suppose he's got some magic resist, might have been okay, but still, Meteor mistiming that ultimate, doesn't have it available, and the Zyra without the ult does have a lot less impact. He might be able to get himself some more poke here in River against targets when they don't have, you know, lots of stuff to tank up those plants. LG might have just again found themselves another bit of value on teleporting back in, means that chunk means nothing.
The early burst that On was suffering in the game is just not there anymore. He's now managed to pick up enough magic resist. The Meteor with the build, not really a threat right now.
BLG. Once again, claiming control of mid lane. They've been playing very disciplined in the last few minutes. They've been playing well against the Kindred ultimate. Can they do that again? Ginger has flash. Maybe that can be the play which makes things work. He doesn't have the ult though. It's much harder for him to engage. Maybe LGD have to wait for their own cooldowns a little longer. BLG can't use this advantage to go in towards a Baron. There's going to be Dragon spawning in 2 minutes. There is every chance that that could be a game-winning play too. BLG needs to be afraid of a Baron startup now. Again, Zyra very quick at taking these.
Force BLG to come into them and the other way around, especially while things like the Lamb's Respite are down. This could be a moment.
Yeah, I see BLG using that blue orb to just check there weren't any more plants whacking away at the Baron on that one. There's going to be the control dropped in the back of the pit. Haichao can take care of that one. Haichao, he could be a game-changing player at this point. We've already talked about his items. Meteor standing around the pit, using the passive spawns. More plants coming through, and it's starting to burn. Shun has ult, doesn't have ult, does have flash though. Can maybe outplay.
Bin's been trying to reset for the last 20 seconds. Has got an item back in base. You have to imagine it's not happened quite now. The root goes onto Jinzhao, who now steps forward and sends it on. Remember, there's still not quite a Lamb's Respite, so has to flash away.
Push back!
Birdle gets the Q3 into the all-out! Knight dragged into the Baron pit! Nowhere to go, goes down. Meteor low. The Equalizer after will burn Meteor out. Cannot heal his way to safety as Bin burns through too.
At least the solo laners from BLG combo up to take out the smite. It felt like Birdle had made the play, but actually Meteor was just out of position. Knight doesn't go down before he gets the damage. That'll get them the Baron. That will tide them over into the Dragon. And in the clutch moments, LGD haven't been able to capitalize.
The base.
Haichao's teleported though.
And they're going to try and interrupt on the back. Xiaoyu gets caught again. These hooks have been so frustrating to manage. Will likely lose an inhibitor. All the same, will BLG.
Yeah, they're going to lose an inhib, but they will still stop LGD getting the soul. They get themselves the kill on Xiaoyu, who's looking for one of those, you know, pesky Varus, arrow steals. Power recall's coming through now. No port stopped. So no threat onto the base itself from LGD.
3 seconds until what would have been Soul again for LGD, but losing Xiao means you'd be fighting a 4v5 right now, so they're teleporting down. They don't want to give a chance for the reset. They want to be there now.
That makes a lot of sense. Ben, you said he'd been reaching out for that reset. Has himself the Crypt Bloom now as well. A Magic Pen, a bit of cooldown reduction. LGD, how heartbreaking must this series be? So close in Game 1. Game 2, arguably closer still. It's just that they ended up throwing a lot of their big opportunities. They're going to lose themselves a chance for Soul. They're going to have to wait for a next big fight. Feels like they've been blowing the Kindred ultimate pretty successfully and been able to maybe find some plays after that point. I've not loved the Strangle Thorns coming in from Meteor. He's shown some knowledge of the champion, but his combos haven't necessarily been the best. In this case, you can see that the Bertle's done a really good job getting right onto Knight, but right the way through this, you can see that there's just a lot of splitting happening. Xiaoya kind of out of position because he's cut off by the Molten Fissure, and Knight does survive long enough to get a combo, which means that the Equalizer can at least take the jungle back.
Crushing blow actually dragged Meteor backwards. Wait, they've just kept shoving all the while, though. They're going to get towards the other inhibitor, and On's not going to do that much right now as he shoved back out, dies.
He dies, but what can happen after this point? The tower's going to go down. Bin, he's
Oh!
low, but not dead. Bertle hits the ground.
And that's another member down. They're going to force something more here. The Tangle Barbs do a fair amount of work to catch Knight again. Stops him continuing to chase. It's a 1-for-1 right now, but another inhibitor turret falls.
There's an inhib turret falling, but can they get safely out? That's going to be a slowing plant, even though they don't have the Ryalize. The plant will slow itself. Meteor stopping Bin from getting through onto the side there. This feels like LGD just about get away with this one. 1-for-1. Bin doesn't have the ultimate, has the flash. Circling like a shark in the waters.
Love to try and nick this one away, but there is that all-important team blue buff, the cooldown reduction, the mana, always very nice on a lot of these champions. It's a poke Varus, getting through rotations is good. It's the Zyra, more rotations is good.
That it is, LGD. They have reached the late game. Feels like once again. Baron buff still comes through to a positive outcome from LGD, despite the fact that they lost some kills on the taking of it. BLG. Feels like every fight, though, they're getting closer and closer to forcing LGD once again into one of those late-game messes. Last game it was BLG with the lead and LGD fighting back from it and just about failing to do so. This time it's LGD with the lead and then BLG fighting back.
The last few moments have been less about the Zyra and more about Haichao on the Tristana. Gets one inhibitor turret, gets the inhibitor with it, goes to the top zone, gets a tier 2, and the inhibitor turret there again is at 4 items. Now this Tristana could theoretically carry the game nearly 3,000 gold ahead of his opposite number.
We see that now. The thing with this kind of game, right, is that the similar lead happens in the jungle as well between Meteor and Shun. They still have items to change the game because there are a couple of hyper tanks in the game. Yes, you have the Alistar with the ult, you've got the Kasanze who's very tanky, the Nautilus isn't too shabby either. But if you're hitting the squishy, it doesn't matter if you're 3,000 gold down, because at the end of the day, you still have 2-3 items, and you can add into their despair on the side of it. Knight with his ultimate, that spiraling despair might just be, again, someone that can thread the needle through onto the backline, past that front line. That might just be key.
I don't think Knight or Bin can easily say they win a 1v1 versus Haichao right now in the side lane, which you can see why he's being so aggressive in some of those shoves. That split map play now becoming a bit more of a worry for BLG, where it was some of the 5v5 worries that had been plaguing them earlier in the game.
I just wonder, with teleports up, 2 open inhibitors in BLG's base, whether, by the time we get round to this dragon, because it wouldn't be Soul for BLG, I wonder whether we'll see ourselves a bit of backdoor shenaniganery coming through from LGD. They might still look for the fight anyway. They have the Ryalize through on Meteor, strong point of power. That is such a huge item. It means that even your Q plants now will apply a decent slow, and they have longer range. It's easier to get towards that one. Shun jumps on the Haichao!
So much damage, but gets to hop away. That's the Buster Shot blown. Haichao needs to back away, does have the teleport, and will likely have to use it to reset.
Yeah, Shun trying to do exactly what Milky Way did last split, except Shun, he was always the Kindred player before him. Well, I mean, Meteor was actually one of those players too. There have been a great many of those players before. Haichao has teleport, has Meteor walking up towards the top side. Now, the problem is, if they overstay, if they show, BLG could collapse quickly. They cannot walk here too long. Meteor standing in the enemy jungle. He could potentially look for a miracle pick over here too. He won't be able to burst out Shun before the ult comes through, but how much exactly can he do?
Just Wanting to see whether someone face checks, gets a decent chunk. He's got a blast cone. No, he doesn't. That's just a plant spawn over by the ward. I wondered why the blast cone looks so different.
Seed spawn, yeah, and still shows he can do some damage to Shun, but some life steal coming through just from his base rings. Must be running Legends Bloodline. And of course he has the jungle item too. Hide Shout, jump forwards, on, going around the corner. Feels like this could be, again, a bit of this, trying to looking for the flank and see what they can get. On has flash, has ultimate. Of course, he's the center lane partner, has a lot of gold comparative, and he's quite tanky. And once again, you can see that just playing around the fog of war is the name of the game of the last minute or two.
Dragon in 20 seconds. That mid lane tier 1 still stands. The inhibitor's exposed in every other lane, but BLG have held the mid.
And they have done that for so well in this series. Even in the last game, that mid lane out of turret stayed alive until like, what, 35 plus minutes? A long, long time. LGD, they again have to say, they shouldn't even be in this position. This game could have been dead and buried at this point. Imagine if they had the Herald. Imagine if they hadn't misplayed around that Baron taken the first time. But all gets cancelled out of his W, but still very, very tanky.
Now on the other side, Haichao knocks Bin away. Still has the equalizer though.
Shun's taking the dragon, so that dragon's down, but this could be at the cost of a kill.
On, forced to flash out. The ignite burned as well, and Birdall using that big ultimate. Dragon taken by BLG all the while, as you noticed.
As we said, LGD committing to the smoke and mirrors, just saying, look, we don't want to have a straight-up dragon fight. BLG actually have a very strong front-to-back team fight, and their engage could be all off of one hook. They can peel back into the Kindred ultimate. That's been a powerful tool for them so far, and LGD, they have struggled to find their own inroads. Their pick tools have been, as you said, not as bursty as it was earlier in the game because it's just too tanky now, the targets which they're selecting.
Shun looking to try and get towards the rest of this jungle. Will find Haichao. Will not be able to get towards what would have been a 7th mark if he could have gotten to the Krugs.
Yeah, that'd be huge for the range increase. It's at 4, and then every 3 beyond that point. So 4, 7, 10. Very rarely 13 and 16, but still very happy to have some of those extra stats when you cast that. I think again, Meteor's just hanging around the right part of the map. It's a big thing about Zyra jungle. You want to stand in a location to get some of those passive plant spawns on, hooks in, doesn't get much after that point, but Meteor trying to get some of those seeds to get some of those plants tagging yet again.
Haichao goes towards the other lane. Will be a known quantity because of that blue trinket. But this is the aim of the game. The rest of LGD have got a pretty solid core to ward off and engage and force someone to respond to the Tristana, which will not be very easy to manage in a side lane.
Been no flash, but has a Zhonya's. I think he's pretty confident that he can do some damage in this 1v1 versus Haichao. Might even just win it. Very, very strong with his own build, but Haichao, absolutely destructive if you allow him to fire beyond the flame spitter range. Has the maximum value out of that draw a bead passive, maximum range. Meteor stacking up those seeds on the Baron again, making sure he's staying in the right place to get himself maximum spawn. Shun is on the bot side of the map, so if he shows bot side, the Baron will disintegrate. He hasn't been seen yet. Shun could go across there. I think that BLG spot out the Baron spawn, and they call him away yet again. Force LGD off of the Baron. LGD, they do not want a straight up fight.
And they're doing quite a good job of forcing people to move away. Bin has the teleport, so could still join. Hex Drinker and Merc Treads for Haichao, by the way, to ensure whoever solo laner he's against should have fairly okay defenses at this point. But it means nothing like a Bloodthirster, worth noting.
He'll have some Legends Bloodlines, so he'll have some lifesteal, but it's not the Overshield. When he gets more, the amount of other items, remember that the more shield scales with your total AD as well. So that'll be very powerful when that comes through. We haven't really seen anyone being able to break open the BLG frontline, though. LGD struggling to get past that ability of that Nautilus to kind of be pulled back or even use the center heals and shields and the Kindred ultimate to secure their safety.
Meteor can't be miles off a Blighting Duel. You feel that would make a significant difference to the damage opportunity for LGD.
Yeah, and I really just feel like this Banshee's Veil has not had value. If this was a Rylai's and then the Void Staff afterwards, maybe that could have been the difference, but it's not really helping with killing the front line right now. They don't have the range to deal with the Senna and the Kindred getting up there too. Bin, Haichao playing some games in the side lane. Haichao probably knows he's in the bush. He doesn't want to walk anywhere close to that. They'll sit there going, I know you're there. I know you know I'm there. What do we do next?
He's back off. Away, briefly. The Observer caught off guard there a little bit as well. But Haichao backs away. Baron buff available for a team to claim if only they can slay the Baron himself.
But the thing is, BLG have taken the grand majority of the objectives towards the late game. And if they just wait a minute or two, they can go towards that dragon. They can solo it out with a number of different members. Rumble could solo it. You've got the Kindred that could do that as well. LGD feels like they are not happy to sit there and allow BLG to come into them too easily. They're trying to play around the sidelines. I think they're really afraid of a straight front to back right now. They're trying to clear some vision. Teleport's coming in, and we play the objective game again.
Eyes on Shun as well. 4 items completed, including an Infinity Edge. That is an additional AD carry at this point.
Haichao has the more. We said that was a big power spike as well. Bin going back to base, likely getting his own buy-in. And LGD peel off the Baron yet again. They really don't want to fight BLG. They want to play around side lanes. Haichao has the Flicker Blades. The Flicker Blades, he's very happy to get bombs on target. And now it's BLG. Their turn to start the Baron. Draw LGD into them.
Blue Trinket spots what's going on, but they are theoretically finding a good flank angle. Bin not here yet, would need to teleport in. That's the Baron secured for BLG. The fight afterwards now becomes the aim of the game. Shun in the Lamb's Respite needs to try and find a way over, but still dies. The bomb does him in. On now trying to back away. The Equalizer on top of the last embrace actually does a fair amount of work. He's spiraling despair, takes Haichao down to half. They lose 1, but do claim Baron.
Shun gets Buster Shot out of his ult. That's what we've been waiting for some of these team fights, and the Kindred ult doesn't get value. It's going to be the Dragon up in 20 seconds with no smite for BLG. I wonder if they just go towards it anyway and bet that LGD won't want to face them in an even fight. They are currently in a 4v5 across the map, though, and LGD could get themselves some resets in time. LGD can heal up.
Teleports.
Or at least Meteor can heal up off of some of those camps and not be quite as low HP as he was after that fight. Teleports coming in. BLG will have to take a 4v5 or see the soul go over.
Birdle looking for the flank, could be a threat. Elk just about here. They know where it is. Looking for the engage. That's the Flash's bone. Knight in danger. Goes all out is Birdle. Trying to get some damage. Haichao jumps onto Elk, taking down about 20% HP. Knight continue to try and play this one out, but I think the armor's looking a little bit tarnished. Birdle still goes down. Jinzhao cannot secure the additional damage. He goes too deep. Look at the damage back as Xiaoya does land the corruption from the arrow. Cannot get the kill. 2 dead for LGD. They dove too greedily to get a hold of Knight and don't secure the kills.
Xiaoya so nearly died on Flash Stun and Bird Display and Shield. Now they have the teleports coming through. Now they've bought time for Shun to come back, and LGD might just have clutched it out, but that's another death here from BLG.
Gets the Ocean Soul. They're gonna jump onto the Rumble though, and that means Ben can murder them all.
And BLG, they clutch it out in the late game yet again. Even though the kill went on to On midway through that, it is 2 40+ minute heartbreaks in LGD versus BLG. Game 2 was even closer than Game 1 in so many ways, but LGD threw away a chance against the kings of the LPL, and they will be left wanting at 0-2.
We have 2-man defense, but with every member of BLG but the Nautilus there, I don't think there's anything that can be done. Billy Gaming, this will not be their brightest day. This will not be their best day. It is still a 2-0. The hearts of LGD are broken again. They can go home. Heads held high, yes, but hearts, I'm sure, sore about what could have been.
The day you had your best shot against BLG may have been heartbreak for you, but for BLG, it was just another Monday. They walk away with it. Will they be happy with it? No, but it's still a win. Some real questions asked about them, though. I really feel like their early games have been a little suspect. I think that particularly their bot lane has had some issues raised about them. Again, these are historic issues for Elk and On, where occasionally they have some of these inconsistencies come through, but BLG, they see it through. It's another day at the office, a harder one than normal, but it's still another win.
LGD, on the other hand, though, if this is the level they are going to be showing, I think they could be looking to theoretically do pretty well in this placement area. We were asking the question, okay,